Everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented Tomas Doncker. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on.
Before we get started, I got to introduce you to everybody, starting off with my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hey Ron.
Things are going your way.
Oh.
It's happening. Oh, please. Please, it's so happening, and you know it is. Don't be modest.
Thank you so much, Ron.
No, it's true. Things are happening, brother. It's happening.
Then we've got our videographer, and he is in Philadelphia. His name is Scotty J. So say hi to Scotty J.
What's happening, Scotty? How you doing?
Hey, Tomas, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Good. Appreciate it.
And then we've got Danielle. She's at the W4CY studios in Wellington, Florida.
Hey, Danielle.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Then
much.
we've got a chat room. Literally every country is represented right now, and they're all talking about the sax in that last song that we just played. Postmodern Jive from the Black Magnolia Project. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, chat world. How are y'all?
There you go. And then we got to give a special shout out to our lady in waiting, Miss Eileen Shapiro, because I know
the wonderful Miss Eileen.
There you go. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
So everybody, Tomas does all kinds of really cool stuff, and he's the founder and president of True Groove Records, www.truegroove.nyc. He's got a brand new album called The Black Magnolia Project, of which we just heard that song, Postmodern Jive, which everybody in the chat room is asking who played the sax, so you might as well give somebody a plug.
The sax was by my main man. He's the Inspector Gadget of the group. This guy does everything. And just to be clear, he does have the best hair in rock and roll, Mr. Mark Henry. He played the saxophone. He also played the percussion on the track.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I call the smoky saxophone. You know, we have a very good friend of ours, Scott Page, who worked with Pink Floyd.
Sure.
And I keep telling Scott, you got to do a smoky sax number, something sexy, and you got it in your music. I'm going to tell Scott to listen in. This is what I'm talking about. I don't think he gets it.
In the chat room, they're asking if it's a soprano sax or tenor sax, which I have no idea what that means.
Wow, we've got a really musically astute chat room. So check this out. That's a really good question. Here's the answer to your question. It's both.
Oh.
Well, how can you be both?
It's both. Well, in the studio, you can do interesting things. Mark played the first part of it on tenor sax, and then as he started to build up in terms of going higher in notes, he switched over to soprano sax.
I love it.
I'm sorry, not soprano, alto sax.
Altos. And they're actually saying I could hear it and stuff like that. They're actually, because we have so many cool, famous musicians that a lot of people who come in the chat room are musicians themselves.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
So it works out really good.
Some of the biggest rock bands.
And while we're doing that too, we should just so Thomas has a band called Tomas. I keep saying
Thank you.
Tomas Doncker, and the True Groove All-Stars. We might as well give a little shout-out to the True Groove All-Stars. Tell us who they are so that way they all get a little bit of play.
Well, I have to say, and I hope that someday soon all of you get to see us, but I'm not just talking out of school. I've got the best band around. Let me start. At the top of the True Groove organization is James Del Tacoma. He's one of my partners, as well as being a guitarist, plays banjo. He's also our head engineer, my production partner. He's phenomenal. So he plays guitar in the band when we perform. Then we have Leroy Lefty Johnson on drums, and that's regular drums and electronic drums. He's a whiz with all that. We have Nick Rolfe, who is our keyboard player. He actually also was playing with the late, great Miss Aretha Franklin up until when she died.
Big
Nick
deal.
Was phenomenal. On bass, we have the incredible Mr. Chulo Gatewood. Okay. We have Mark Henry on saxophone, percussion, this thing we call the Magic Stick, which is actually an electronic wind synthesizer, which is like a keyboard, but it's played like a saxophone. It's pretty.
Yeah, Eileen was super impressed with that. Yeah, she saw that. She was like, "What is that?"
At the show. Yeah, and Mark sings his face off as well. Kevin Jenkins also plays bass, keyboards, and sings beautifully. The White Knight, we call him, young man from Finland named Artur Juronen. He plays a pedal steel guitar, which I know sounds like, supposed to be Conway Twitty or something, but he has a whole new fresh approach. Twitty. Yeah, he's got a whole futuristic approach to it. It's wonderful. And he actually was one of the co-producers of the record. Usually James and I produce the records, but for this project, it was Artur's first project co-producing with us. As I said, he's from Finland. He's a phenomenal young man, just amazing talent. He also has his own group called Beverly Girl. You should get them on the show sometime. They're really fantastic dance group with a young lady named Johanna.
You got a thing for Finland, though. Because you got an artist. We played Sam Huber. We played him last week as in our break music. We played off his new album, Mona. I think it's called Mona, yes. And we played Isn't It a Pity? And everybody loved the video. We played it last week.
Yeah, Sam is the man. In fact, Artur is the person who introduced me to Sam. Sam is just phenomenal talent, and we are honored to have him as part of the True Groove family. Last but not least is my esteemed and wonderful partner, also a phenomenal artist in her own right, a playwright, singer, poet, writer, just a genius woman, and Miss Marla Mace. Okay, and she's amazing. But we have
email her.
Yeah, Marla's the best. But I mean, that's the band that's on the record, but we all operate together as I hate to say this, it sounds corny, but it really is a family. We all pitch in. Miss Regina Bonelli is one of the artists on the label. She's not on this record, but she's on the upcoming record, another record we have coming called Trapped in the Mess We Made. She sings on that with us, as well as we're getting ready to launch a new single for her. And that's the crew,
You're in New York, right? We should tell everybody that you're in New York City, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm in New York.
Where in New York?
Right now, I am at home in East New York, which is about 10 minutes from Bushwick. Okay, going sideways if you go across.
Ron's a New Yorker. He's from
where
Brooklyn.
You from, Ron?
Brooklyn. Where else? Native born Brooklyn. Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Right, Red Hook.
In the days where they'd shoot you in the street if you were a cop. But anyway, it was Mafiaville, Red Hook. When I was growing up, all my friends' fathers were big shots. Are you kidding? I grew up. I used to go to some houses that I would never repeat, but forget about it. I mean, it was quite I love Brooklyn. I love New York, but I hate the winter, and I can't deal. I'm 78 years old. I can't deal with cold. It freezes. It hurts. So I'm living in Palm Springs. Boring, but it's okay. Yeah. The weather's good. I get to New York whenever I can. I love New York. I miss my New York so much. I miss my New York people, the natives, not the ones that just came in.
Right. No, I hear you.
The real New Yorkers who are the best people in the world.
I hear you.
When they say New York is a cold and unfriendly bullshit, fall down in the street. Fall down in the street, and I guarantee a real New Yorker will pick you up, but the other ones will walk by.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, I must tell you, your description of Ron was accurate. Let's just say that.
I would like to know what he said.
Ron is a house on fire, no question about it.
No,
man. Okay.
Hey, listen. When you get to the end of your life, you just say, fuck it, I say what I want. I don't care. I don't have to worry about my future or my career.
Ron, you look like you're right at the beginning of it all. Really, you look fantastic. Man.
Thank you so much.
But
you know what? The insides are still 78.
I want to do some bragging, you guys. So Tomas,
brag about it.
First of all, you guys can follow him on Twitter at Tomas Doncker, TomasDoncker. You can go to his website tomasdoncker.net. Again, tomasdoncker.net. He's worked with Bootsy Collins, Yoko Ono, Madonna, Ivan Neville, Bonnie Raitt, Michelle, I don't know how you pronounce her last name.
And Deggiocello.
That's one of Ron's daughter's favorite artists. He loves her. Yeah, Corey Glover of In Living Color. And on this album and in other things that he's done, he's worked with Pulitzer Prize winning poet Yusef Komunyakaa. Did I get that right?
You nailed it.
All right, and I know that you and Eileen just went to a big event this past weekend where you got to see him. He's one of the most famous poets in the world, and
absolutely.
So he's done all kinds of cool stuff, and he just got cast, and he didn't audition. They came to him to be the guitar player, onstage guitar player in the #1 Broadway show out right now, To Kill a Mockingbird.
This is what I was talking about.
Which is the ticket that nobody can get, you guys.
Yay,
nobody can get the tickets. It's surpassed Hamilton as the #1 show. It's To Kill a Mockingbird, and that had to be such an honor for them to come to you.
I gotta tell you, yeah.
Yeah, that's all you can say.
I'll be honest, though. I'll be honest. We do a lot of theater. In fact, Marla is in charge of True Groove Theater Works, the theatrical division of our company. And we had a wonderful run at La Mama last year. We had a sold-out 3-week run of her play, which is called The Pill. Fantastic play that she wrote, which we're still developing. I did the score for it. And we do theater. We've got, this is one show. We have another show called Miracles Lost and Found that we're developing. We're working with the amazing Mr. Khalil Kane on his next theatrical outing, which is called Lambs to Slaughter.
Actually, everybody should know, too, because Khalil Kane, Ron won't know who that is, but Khalil Kane is like an urban icon. He was in Juice with Tupac, you guys.
Yeah.
He was in Renaissance Man. He's right now he's on like a cop show, but for like 25 years or whatever, he's like a staple, and
Khalil's a real urban icon. But he's also a master thespian, and we're actually putting out his debut record within the next couple of weeks. But you can tell them about that later on, Jimmy. But we got a lot of stuff coming.
Let's talk about.
But back to Mockingbird. Back to Mockingbird. That was the question.
Let's talk about you.
No, go back to Mockingbird.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
I'm going to hit you with this fucking mic in a minute. Stop it.
So
now listen up. Hang on. Kill a Mockingbird is the #1 show in the world right now, and you're a part of it. Okay. Now, without being a modest guy, because I hate modesty, when you earn it, brag it. How the fuck did you get there? Who picked you? Where'd they find you? Well, why you and not me?
He doesn't play guitar.
I don't play guitar.
I'll be honest. I thought it was a few different people who I know are heavyweights in the theatrical industry. It had nothing to do with them. Honestly, it came from a colleague, a fellow colleague of mine, a wonderful guitar player in New York City. Her name is Anne Klein, and she's friends with the musical director of the show, Kim Grigsby. Evidently, they were chatting one night. Kim said that she needed a new guitar player, and Anne said, call Tomas Doncker. And it was, you never know, right? I mean, I figured it was somebody. I know a few people, who could pull strings to me. It was just a colleague of mine who I've known forever. And she's a super talent, and we've played together, and she's wonderful. And she was asked a question, and she said, call Tomas Doncker, don't call anybody else. Had I been invited to audition for the show, I would have never done it.
Why?
I'm too busy. I'm too busy.
Oh, you're too busy for
that. I've got
you out of your mind?
I've got too much stuff to go audition for anything. I'm at that. What did you say before? When you get to a certain age, you just say, fuck it.
Oh, fuck it. Is right.
Right. I don't need to audition for something. I don't. I have my own work. I'm very proud of it. Right. But to be invited, to be involved in this particular show at this particular time in history is an honor beyond my wildest dreams.
And that's what I said in the beginning when I said you're climbing. This is a big heist, my friend.
Yeah.
No, you could be playing guitar in the park for dollars, and a lot of people do. And look where you are. I mean, #1 Broadway show, To Kill a Mockingbird. You are their guitarist. This is a big fucking deal, at least where I come from anyway.
It's a real honor. I've been rehearsing the show for the last, month or so pretty intensely. They plan on putting me in the regular rotation starting after the Tonys, which are June 9th. So I'll be on stage on a regular basis after the Tony Awards. It's very exciting. I've seen the show about 4 times already. The cast is phenomenal, okay? The direction is phenomenal. And, need I say anything about Jeff Daniels? Do we even have to talk about Jeff Daniels?
Yeah, I love Jeff Daniels.
Who doesn't love Jeff Daniels? And this is, as if he needed it, this is his moment right now.
Yes.
He's incredible in this show. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. So
he's got a piece of work there that people kill for.
Yeah.
I mean, playing that part in Mockingbird, first of all, is very beautifully written. It's a good movie because it has a great message, and it will teach people how to behave.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, yes, Ron. That's exactly what it's about.
And that's how to behave on this planet Earth.
Well put, Ron. I'm loving you more and more every.
Well, me too. So good. Get me two tickets to the show.
Oh, that's a given. That's a given, Ron. That's a given. You know,
I have to say too, like talking about music and the musicians and you got picked for this and everything. Eileen, who saw you play a couple of times in the last 2 weeks, has told me that you and your band are probably one of the tightest bands she's ever seen, and everybody's really cool looking. And coming from Eileen is a big compliment because like Eileen goes and interviews and goes and sees shows of like